Welcome to the exciting world of startup. When we hear this word startup, what comes to our mind is business, money, which is natural, and we'll go into details about it. But the fact it is never about business or money. It is always about people and their dreams. It's about their passion, it's about their efforts, joy, happiness, willing to do something. And of course, lots of failures and lots of frustrations. We're talking about a journey that can turn into a saga. My name is Sanjay Agarwal, and welcome to the Startup Saga. Today, we will focus on one topic idea validation process. And we have with us Bhavin Dave. Bhavin, welcome.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Bhavan is married. He's got two kids. He had a phenomenal, cushy corporate job, but he left it. And he left that corporate job and followed his dream. So we'll ask Bhavin what made him do so. So, Bhavin, thank you for joining the podcast. And we will try to learn something from your journey. That's the idea. So, why not you share something about yourself and your journey here?
Sure. Firstly, thanks for having me on your show. And before I go and introduce myself, this is a fantastic venture that you have started. I myself benefited a lot learning from others, not repeating the mistakes that they did. So, sure, this podcast is going to be very helpful for others who are going to embark in this journey. So, fantastic venture. Very happy to be a part of this show. And hopefully, your viewers and listeners will drive some learnings from this session. Yeah, I'm Bhavin Dave. I kind of spent 25 years of my corporate life in the Wall Street banks, and data has always been my passion. So that is what prompted me to get into my own startup ventures. We'll talk more about it as we progress, but that's a brief about me.
Before we go detail into of your venture, the personal side, like how about the support from family? Because your cash flow is always very important. So can you just kind of a little bit touch on that? What kind of effort, what kind of experience you had there?
Yeah, I can say this just by stating how much time it took me to take this decision. I launched this startup about 6 months ago, but I prepared for it for almost 3 years. So it took me 3 years to take the decision. It could not have been without the support, backing of the family. So everybody in the family is very supportive. They realize the passion and the energy behind it. And without family support, I don't think this step even would have been possible.
Going towards your venture, so can you share a little bit about what this idea is, like declarative data, like what kind of problem it solves?
Yeah, so Declarative Data, we have launched a product called DOME. It stands for Data Ownership and Management Made Easy. And the vision of that product is to make it super simple for data managers in any organization to secure, protect, govern, and automate compliance of their data products wherever these data products are in their data ecosystem. So that's essentially what we are trying to achieve with DOME, our product within Startup Declarative Data.
Dome, DOME. Is that the name of your product?
Is the name of the product, and it's an acronym. It stands for Data Ownership and Management Made Easy.
Data ownership and management made easy. Interesting.
Yeah,
Very nice. Very interesting.
yeah.
Dome. That's great. I mean, data management. I'm sure many companies are offering. Maybe I'm wrong, right? So, where is your niche, like, and how do you plan to, from a revenue perspective, from a growth perspective, like, is there a sector you are targeting, a size of company, or what's your approach towards that from a revenue model perspective?
That's a good question. From a competitor standpoint, there are two big gaps that we assessed in our conversations with many data executives. Either the incumbents in this space do not cover the entire breadth of all aspects to be covered for effective data management. They may cover just one or two aspects, like maybe security or quality, but they not many tools cover the entire gambit of everything that's required for effective data management. So that's one gap. And the second gap that we observed was even when the tool offer capabilities, more often than not, there is a big barrier that these tools require you to replicate all of your data in their platform in order to get any benefit or management benefit from it. In our validations with data executives, both of them act as huge barriers for a company to take decisions. So right from the beginning, we are based on the principles of integration against replication. We go and take the controls to where your data is, as opposed to asking you to get your data close to our platform. And we, right from the beginning, because we are integration based, we cover the entire bandwidth of effective data management principles. So we covered all of them in one single roof.
So to summarize, like it's a breadth. Like so you're going to cover a lot more area than what some other data management company would be. And secondly, which is replications. You don't want the data be to replicated, you can integrate, so that way you save that replication aspect of the whole process. So those are the two things. Is the right way to look at it?
Absolutely. And because we don't replicate, we integrate, we can cover your entire data ecosystem. So you can manage data products. If your data exists in 10 or 50 or 100 different systems, you can use us as the management layer to manage data across all of those 100
So
systems.
that drives low cost, more efficiency for the customer
And ease of use.
and ease of use. Okay. When it comes to sector, is it any one or two sector you are targeting?
We are more of a data company. Data is used across all the different sectors and industries. Product like ours will be more suitable. Industries are regulated, especially from a data perspective. And given the strengths that we have in our team, we are going to focus on financial services because that's where my background is, and advertising, which is where my co-founder's background is.
Healthcare can be another option.
Healthcare is definitely an area where of big concern, especially when it comes to security and privacy. So healthcare definitely will be part of our roadmap. May not be in the first MVP, but subsequently.
Typically, startups are always seeing some opportunity in a smaller to mid-sized companies, because the large companies are already working with large partners and suppliers. So is it fair to say that your startup also is going to focus more on a particular division of a large company, or a small company, or a mid-sized company as a whole? Is that a right way to look at it?
That is correct. As a startup, we want to be agile and iterative, and we want to iterate fast. And in order for us to do that, I think an ideal engagement would be that with either a mid-sized organization or a small group or a small division within a large organization.
Now, coming to revenue model, people are always very interested, because VCs will always be interested. And I'll come to the funding aspect. Can you quickly give us a sense of revenue model? How will you generate money? Like, what's a revenue model? Is it SaaS or something else?
It is a SaaS platform. Essentially, our revenue drivers are going to be how many regulations are you automating and what is the volume of data on which these regulations are being automated. So, this will be the two key drivers.
Any sense of, I know you're a pre-revenue stage right now. Like, when do you expect, in few month or a year, the revenue will kick in?
So we are a B2B solution. This is not a B2C. So I think our revenue flow will start as soon as we get the first clients on board. So this is not a free economy or free economy type of a solution. It's more of a B2B. So currently we are anticipating that we will go through the product build and the MVP phase of the startup up until maybe Q2 of next year. And that's the time we would start. Hopefully we'll get client at least onboarded by then. And as soon as we have the one client onboarded, we would have the revenue flowing in.
From funding perspective, I understand you have self-funded this venture. Why and when do you expect you will raise money externally?
Yeah, so this is one of the things that I kind of learned as I was going through my own learnings. And a lot of startup executives advised me around the timing of raising capital. And the advice generally was don't raise capital too soon, too fast. And we are kind of following a similar approach, partly because we are kind of self-funded adequately. And secondly, we want to take it to some logical point before we raise capital. And the logical point for us is when we build the MVP, and we have some design partner who is kind of willing to partner with us in terms of co-building that MVP and adopting that as a solution. So I think that would be the logical point in time for us to go external, raise capital, and scale up. We will raise capital when we want to scale up, essentially.
So MVP is self-funded. Then Q3 first customer, you still will not go for money. And after that, how business is coming, and where do you feel the need of BD or product enhancement? Based on that, sometime later in next year is what you are looking at to raise money.
That's the directional targets that we have now. Now, since you mentioned MVP, I'd just like to highlight one point is that the MVP build that we are doing up until Q2 of next year, we don't want to build the MVP in isolation. We are looking to engage as we speak, we're aggressively looking to engage with the right company who can partner with us and become our design partners to co-build the MVP. So essentially, in that engagement, the design partner will bring their use case and subject matter experts, and we will build the solution aligned to our product strategy and roadmap. And it's a win-win engagement. They get the solution, which they are looking for, and we get expertise in terms of use case on like what is the real problem that people are actually facing. And hopefully, if we secure that design partnership engagement, they could build a solution, which we will. They will potentially become our first customers. So I think that's the approach we are taking. And hopefully by Q2 of next year, we would have completed this MVP along with a design partner.
That's excellent. I think so. Working with somebody who can become your potential customer is what I'm learning from your conversation. Excellent. We'll go through one last question, but we need to make it a little bit more detail about that. And that's a true idea behind this podcast is that what are the learnings you can share with our viewers in your state, which is the idea validation, MVP, not raising money, people who want to leave their job, although they are already in a good cushy job. So it's a lot to take, it's a lot to do. So if you can really guide people who are watching in your kind of situation, what do you suggest to them?
I don't have a silver bullet, but I'll share my experience. What I also learned, like when I was in this journey, my first advice would be to spend some time and introspect along with your family on why are you doing this? What's the driver? Some people might want to do it because they feel they have groundbreaking idea that can change the world. Some people might want to do it just for the experience. They just want to try out something new. This is extremely important in my opinion because this will guide you not just like how long you want to continue in this journey, but also like when is the right logical point when you want to exit out of this journey. So this is absolutely critical. And once you have gone past this stage, there are three key factors I would recommend you to spend time on. The first and foremost is your idea validity itself, like validate your idea. And you can do the validation by speaking with your potential customers, maybe do a very rudimentary prototype, like put it out in their hands, learn, like, what's their feedback, is there general adoption or is there more resistance? Just be close to your customers right from day one, if not day zero, and constantly learn from them and validate your idea. The second aspect is the financial viability of your startup. So even though like you may not generate revenue from day one, but it's very extremely critical to have an understanding of does your idea have the potential to generate revenue for your business. You need to do some homework and some groundwork and get the right financial experts to make sure that your idea has the financial viability. And the last aspect is like most important aspect I feel is do you have the right team to execute on this idea? It's absolutely critical because an idea is as good as the team that executes it. So be super diligent and be non-compromising on making sure that you have the right team to execute on that idea.
So just to kind of recap of what you said is that number one, ask yourself that why are you in this journey, right? And keep asking unless you get a true answer. And there is no silver bullet. What is that magical, formula for that? But you have to ask why are you in this journey because you will be in this journey for long haul, as you said. Number two, you are saying that idea validation, right? And idea validation, I understand from your conversation, it's not about just a verbal validation. It should be a little bit more than verbal validation, like right, some kind of prototype, some kind of test, some more scientific in nature rather than more emotional in nature, right? So that is idea validation, if I'm not wrong. When number three, which I love the most, I'm a finance guy, financial viability, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year plan. And so, which is, I totally agree with you. But I love your last point, which is team, because, you are as good as your team. Make sure that you build a good team. And can you share a little bit about your team?
In the 6 months that I've been in this journey, I myself bring in 25 years of experience on the data side and in the financial services industry. My co-founder has 10 years of experience in Google. And like she was championing privacy solutions with Google's top five Fortune 500 clients. So she brings in a lot of that advertising industry experience. My core engineer is AWS. He was a member of the core engineering team at AWS, and my ML engineer is an IIT alumni. He's a startup founder himself. I'm super proud of the team that I've been able to assemble so far, and we are growing. This is something that we all, the core team, agree to the core that we need to be very selective in our hiring, and but make sure that we are hiring the right people.
I mean, awesome. Google, Amazon, IITians. I think that sounds like a great team. Thank you, Bhavin, for your time. And listening to you, I feel like you are taking a very pragmatic approach to this journey, and I feel a lot more confidence, talking to you that your startup idea is very good. I wish you best of luck on that. I'm sure You will fly and there will be a lot of success. And hopefully, I will also be part of the success. You're my friend. And I wish you best of luck. And I wish you a lot of hard work. And again, pass my regards to your team and to your co founder. Maybe next time we can have her in the conversation. So, absolutely, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Sanjay, for having me on the show. Hopefully, like I'm able to share some experiences with like some of your listeners as I got benefited when I was in this journey. Keep going on this journey. This is a fantastic venue, and hopefully your viewers will benefit from it.
Bhavin got benefited. I got benefited. Hope you all got benefited. Let's talk to you again in a new podcast. Till then, thank you.
Thank you.